Edge Match. It's Edge Match. You're at Edge Match. Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match. You're at Edge Match. Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match.
Hey everybody, welcome to yet another EduLaunch launch. Super excited because today I get to chat with the one and only Kristen Koppers and Brian Costello. Maybe they're the two and only. so welcome. So glad to have you all here. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks. It's nice to get to talk to you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great to connect with y'all, like be it virtually, face to face, what have you. Just really love connecting with both of y'all. So you both have already been EduLaunch authors and have already launched works. So, a lot of our audience already knows you, but for those who don't, then please tell us more about yourselves.
I'll let you go first, Kristen.
Thanks, Ryan. My name is Kristen Koppers. I'm a national board certified teacher. I have a degree in administration, a degree in English, or a master's degree in English and administration. I've been an educator for 20 years. I've been 17 years in the same school district. And, just going with everyone else. And this year I've started a new political field. So you'll probably be seeing that on Twitter, where I'm going to feel like I have a purpose to do something different, but it's still in education. So I'm excited for that, and definitely excited for the book to come out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Brian, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm Brian Costello. I've been in education for over 15 years. I've worked with kids at almost every grade level throughout my career, which has been a lot of fun. I had the chance to kind of kick things off with EduLaunch way back when we got started with the books. I set out on book number 2, and it was kind of a real personal story about my own journey through education and the journey of other people. And then, over the past 4 or 5 years, I've really had a chance to build and grow out different aspects of things that I do, and work with different people in different fields. And I've spent a lot of time recently working in fields in robotics and augmented and virtual reality in those fields. So actually this morning just finished teaching an international class online for the first time at a university level, which was a lot of fun, on mixed reality. So yeah, that's the short version of a really long story.
Absolutely. Love that. So you both have a lot of really exciting things going on. And it's always great to catch up with y'all. You've been members of the EduLaunch family for years and years. So just kind of seeing both of you just kind of as things evolve, and just catching up with your lives. So great. So what inspired you to write Escape Ed?
It was kind of actually like I don't know if it's a funny story. We were on Voxer, and that's when we were just kind of talking about, we had that group on Voxer, and I just kind of threw it out there, and I said, hey, does anyone want to like co-author? I think we were talking about breakout rooms or breakout boxes. And I'm like, does anyone want to co-author a book? And then Brian's like the only one who said, yeah. I'm like, hey, and then we just kind of throwing ideas back, and I think we let it sit for a little bit, and then we went back to it, and
yeah, we kind of sprung out of a natural conversation. And then I guess one of the things that I thought was I wasn't sure if I could write a whole book on it by myself, but having someone else to write with me definitely kind of brought enough perspective to it from different sides that helped me kind of feel like it was the right way to go. And I'll say that when I first, from the time I did my first breakout back in 2000, the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, I was hooked on this thing. I was really hooked on it. And I did one with when I went to the Innovator Academy in 2016, and I went so far down the rabbit hole with that thing. It was like I was coming up with crazy conspiracy theory stuff, and I'm like, well, the Pixel comes out on this day, and they're announcing it in Toronto, and we're going to be in Toronto, and this is this, and we were getting really far down the line in some crazy theories. And then I realized how engaging it was. And I thought, it's great to play the games that other people have made, but to be able to custom make those games has been something my kids love, especially because the first thing that they'll try to do is look the answers up online. And then I tell them that they're not going to find them there because I made all the answers. So sharing that with people, and I mean, that just to share that with everybody is a lot of fun. I've shared it at conferences and stuff, but to put it in writing and give it to as many people as possible as a tool to use is something that I was excited about.
And Brian and I, we've gone through
Totally.
like several different like ideas. You know, we would shoot ideas down, we would talk, and then we would send it to each other. So it was kind of like we were throwing ideas out, how are we going to get this done, or if it was going to work first. And so we did that for a little bit, and then we finally kind of focused on a strategy.
Yeah, that was really cool. I love that collaborative process that y'all had.
Yeah, it was really helpful to be able to bounce
teamwork
things back
definitely
and forth.
does make. Yeah, totally. Well, that is really cool. So why? Let me ask y'all this, and you kind of touched upon this a little bit. Why is the subject matter of the book important to you?
So, I just think how engaging it is, both for kids and adults. Like I've seen kids that don't care about anything that get really excited about it. I've seen kids that struggle with regular classroom stuff that get really into this and really focus on learning things. I watched a group of 7th graders work on fractions for an hour straight and then asked me if I could come and do the same thing at their birthday party. Like, like, when does a 7th grade boy invite his teacher to come teach fractions at his birthday party? Like, I mean, that's how much kids get into this stuff. And then by the same token, I've done these for ed camps, and actually did it for way back when Hadley Ferguson was in charge of ed camp. I did one for her, and she bought it and loved it. And like adults, kids, everybody who do these, they get this great level of engagement that they can't wait to be involved in it. And there's even people who think they're not going to like it. I remember I had one of the friends I would do the ed camp with. She's like, I don't like this stuff. I don't really go for it. And then when she got one of the clues, all of a sudden she's like, I love it. And now she does them in her class. And like 3 years later, she does them in her class and does them posts things that she made and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, you didn't like that, right? So it's just very engaging for people, and it's fun to see them get into it.
Yeah, just like Brian said, I was actually one of those teachers that was just like, I don't want to do games. I teach high school. Like I want to have rigor, you know, and the fact is, like, I've done escape rooms. Like my son at the time, he was like 6, he was doing escape rooms with us, you know, and he would go get things, and he really liked it. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'll take a look at it. And then I'm like, no. And it's just different because you can make it higher level. It doesn't have to be elementary. And the fact that the students work together. And I did my first digital one through the COVID when we were on remote, you know, so the kids were in their breakout rooms. And then I had one form, and so I could watch them on the form and stuff. And they'd come back and ask questions or ask for clues and call me into their room. So it was still pretty cool. The kids still really enjoyed it. And I am like, my students know after the first one that I go crazy because I want them to collaborate. But I don't want them to like cheat, you know, like ask for answers. So each box, I have 5 boxes. Each box has like 8 different locks, and they're all 8 different clues and 8 different combinations. So even if they asked another group, it wouldn't work on their lock. So they know I go a little crazy and overboard with it.
That is really cool. So you have it set up so that they can't even get a cheat code. They just have to work it through and get it right. So that's really cool. That is
Mhm.
really cool. Yeah. So as you all were writing this book, who's been your main target audience for this book?
Well, what I like is Brian and I come from 2 different like areas of education, and even the courses. So I'm in English education, secondary ed, and so a lot of mine are based on that, but I have history in there. I have technology, I have art, because in order to do a breakout box, you can't just focus on one thing. And then when I was reading Brian's stuff that he had entered into the book, I was like learning more about his stuff and the idea of robotics and taking his ideas into as well. So it's kind of neat that we were learning from each other, even though we're writing it separately. I mean, we're not close enough where we can actually just meet up and brainstorm. So we have to try to do it through technology and emails and, text and all that kind of stuff. So I think it came out pretty good based on, everything going on in the past couple of years and the fact that, we're physically, literally apart where we couldn't even just like brainstorm. Oh, Brian, we lost your audio.
Well, yeah, just want to make sure there's no background noise. So so when I think about the audience for this is really anybody who wants the ability to create, right? So anybody who wants to create engaging activities, whether it's for classrooms or it's as a learning activity where students are creating something to demonstrate their learning, or if you're working with a group of adults and you want to do something that's going to engage them, it's an opportunity for you to learn to build those things in a way that fit and tailor to your needs. So while there's an incredible wealth of games that are created to be played already online, each one of those was built by somebody for something that they needed, right? So while I have a ton of games that I've built, and there's a bunch of them that are available for you to play online, they're all tailored to things that I wanted to create, that I needed for my classes, for my purposes. And so with the exception of a couple that people had kind of asked me to create for them, there's not an aspect of what fits for you. And so giving this in this book, it's an opportunity for people to see, why is this effective and how can I take the tools and the insight that both Kristen and I have brought into the book and apply that for an engaging activity for people whatever age group people that you're working with, whether it be younger people. And that's part of the book. It shows how easy it is to tailor it down to younger audiences and also to bring it up to older audiences for whether it be high school students or adults or even as far down as kindergartners and stuff like that. So so while the audience is a wide range, what I would say specifically is anybody who wants to create these engaging activities and start conversations with people and build community with people around an engaging activity.
And the fact is, when Brian was saying it's not also just for education. Like I made a breakout box for my son's Christmas present. So if he wanted it, he had to get the clues and, he had to get into it. So you could do it for parties, celebrations, events, even gender reveals. Like it's not just for education. It just could be just a fun team building exercise.
It's definitely better for a gender reveal than something that explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So your book is really universal and so many people can get a lot out of it. So the final question that we're going to talk about today is, what other resources do you suggest for readers, and also where can they find you?
Well, we worked with the creators of Breakout EDU. We've talked to them. So we definitely will, recommend them to go there because you can get like a 2-week trial. There's different pre-made breakouts on there. They have all the stuff for it. It's also included in the book. They're definitely willing to help if you ever need any emails to them. So definitely go to Breakout EDU. I mean, they're great people who worked with us in writing the book. And I just went to like other stores, like even like the Dollar General or Walmart to pick up some extra things. Sometimes you can put candy in there. It's you work with people on it. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
I mean, yeah, I definitely want to give a quick shout out to the creators of people at Breakout EDU because they've been really supportive of this project ever since we started it, and really very willing to work with us. And while the book does talk a bit about the content that's there at Breakout EDU and the specific stuff that they've created, it talks about a lot more as well. One of the things that I would say is a good place to, if you're trying to create new puzzles or new games, is to play them. The more you play, the more your mind starts to get into the aspect of how do these things work? How do they function? There's a free online site for games that's it's a Breakout digital sandbox. I think that's still active, and you can get to that. Where games, it must still be active because some of the games that I made like 4 years ago are still getting. I still get email responses from kids saying, "How, like, give me access to this Google Sheet." But especially around the holidays, I have one that was made for Frosty the Snowman that I just made for fun one time, and I get every year in December I get like 100 emails asking for requests for this, or how do you get the answer to this one. So play games, play them with your kids, play them with your friends, try them out. That's how I kind of get a lot of inspiration for puzzles. And the other thing that I do a lot of times to get inspiration, that I used to really draw a lot of inspiration from, is I would go to the like the lock aisle in like Target and just look at all the different types of locks they have. And if they have something interesting or weird, like I got one that was a date and you had to put the date in, and then I started incorporating dates into my, like the actual lock had it's called a birthday lock, and you put the date on, like the actual date, year, month, and day. And that gave me a chance to start coming up with new ideas for puzzles. Things that you hide objects in, like there's a bunch of examples of this in the book, but like puzzle boxes and hollow backed clocks, and anywhere you'd probably try to hide the keys for your house if you're trying to leave a spare set somewhere is usually a great tool to incorporate and throw in there. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do to kind of get inspiration and learn to incorporate new different things to make it more fun. But I guess that what I would leave people with is there's no bad way to start it. And in the book, you see an example of my first game, and it's terrible. It's really bad. But the kids loved it anyway, right? And as I got better at it, they got better at it, and then we kind of grew together. So play games and try it out. I think that's the best way to really get started.
And even if you just use like a regular game that you play, like a board game, sometimes ideas just come in your head when you're playing like Monopoly or something like that. It's just, you just think of something, and Brian said, I'll walk through aisles at a store and be like, this might be able to be used in a box sometime, or an idea. So it's just like they can come from anywhere. And then definitely try escape rooms. I've done that, and I've looked at ideas that I could use, where to hide things and how to decode it. So they're just everywhere. You just got to look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Absolutely. Well, definitely wanted to thank you both for coming on today and telling us all about your amazing book, Escape Ed. So you can find Kristen at Mrs._Koppers and Brian at BT Costello 05 on Twitter, 05, I should say, on Twitter. You can also find the book, as for those of you who are watching us, then you'll see that you can just email me at edumatchbooks@edumatchers.org if you want to get a bulk discount. So just buy 10 or more copies and you get a discount off of the set. So this is perfect for book studies, things of that nature. You can also find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, as well as edumatchpublishing.com. So I wanted to thank you both again so much for coming on today, and thank you for all of the work that you do for educators everywhere. So everybody, thanks for watching, and hope that everyone has a great one. So thanks again, y'all.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for having us.
Bye. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, y'all.